What's going on, agents? ASCII Adam here. If you enjoy today's content, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel to get future Division 2 updates. Also, remember to hit that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload a new video. Before I get started, I'd like to say thank you to my fellow service members and veterans. We love you. Thank you for your service. Also, suicide is never an option. If you're feeling suicidal, please get help. Call a family member, call a friend, call the National Suicide Hotline, message me. Do whatever you need to do to get yourself well. So today I want to make a quick video. I know it's been made before. I know people have talked about this before, but I just want to throw out my input, and I'd love to hear your input back on what you think about the RNG and loot drops in the Division 2. We all know that it's super hard to get a gear drop that you need or want, especially on the chest and backpack with as many different pieces of RNG go into it. Between the brand set, the attributes, the talents, with all of those things, all RNG, it is almost impossible to find that perfect piece of gear. In fact, I know someone has done the math on it, and it's like 0.00025% or something like that. It's unreal. Something like 3,000 hours to get one piece of perfect gear. So I just wanted to toss out a couple of ideas, and before I do that, I want to say these are probably not mine. I watch a ton of YouTube about the Division 2. I read about the Division 2, and so I'm sure I've read and heard these before from somebody else, and they just stuck in my brain as something that I think would be good to help fix the problem. Now, these are not comprehensive. Some of them may not work. I've only got 3 ideas here, and then I want to hear back from you guys, but something needs to be done. I still enjoy playing the game. I play it every day, but I am trying to farm for some better gear, and I have not upgraded a single piece in probably at least a month, if not more. So without further ado, what I would like to, the first idea that has been floated out there that I agree with is closing down the loot gap. And what that means is, say you're running hard content. Hard content would drop gear between 480 and 500. That gear would then, you're going to get an RNG on what the brand set is, and then you're going to get an RNG on what attributes roll on the gear. Then you're going to have RNG on how much the stats are for each one of those attributes. Well, I think with hard content, the minimum cap should be 50% of what the stats can roll. So you're going to RNG on what you get as far as the attributes go, but the attributes should only go down to 50%. 50% to 100% on the RNG for the attribute stats, which means, say you looted a holster and it had skill haste on it coming up in TU5. The max roll on that holster would be 44% skill haste. So that would mean the minimum that you could get would be 22% skill haste, 50%. But it could roll between that 22% and the 44%. That would be the hard cap minimum that you could get. You can't loot a holster with 2% skill haste or 2% crit or whatever. That is junk. Once you're in World Tier 5, you should be getting between 50% and 100%. If you're on challenging, the gear should drop between 490 and 500. And the attribute roll should be between 70% and 100% of the cap, but no lower than 70% on those stats. If you're running heroic content, the gear should drop no lower than 500, and it should be 85 to 100% on those stats. That way, if you run heroic content and something drops, it may be useful. It is not a 0.00% chance that it's going to be something you can put on your gear. It's something you're going to have to look at and go, that's pretty good. You're still going to end up having good drops, and then you're going to deconstruct things, but it's going to give you a much better chance of getting something you might actually want. And that is what keeps people playing, is getting the drops that they want, not only enjoying the game, but everybody is chasing the carrot on the stick. Everybody wants to be a little more powerful over time. Right now, if you're in World Tier 5 and you have a 500 gear score with somewhat of a decent build, that carrot is still almost out of reach. You can't even see it. The second thing is, I think that certain gear brands, and I know I didn't come up with this idea, I've heard this quite a few times, should drop from certain factions. If you need, say, a Fenris chest, you should know where to go look for that, whether it be hyenas or true sons or whatever. A certain faction should drop certain loot, so you can go farm for that certain loot. Just like if you want one of the exotic weapons, there are certain places that drops. There are certain factions that drop each of the exotics, except for the crafted ones, but you get what I'm saying. You should be able to go to the bank headquarters and know the brand sets you're going to get out of that. Third thing is, brand sets, I think, should roll with certain attributes. If a brand set, say Alps, which gives you the skill power cooldown reduction on the brand set, should roll with some yellows. Whether that be, I'd leave that up to the developers, but honestly, 1 or 2 yellows. If you're going for the brand set for skill power, you're going for the brand set for skill power. You don't want 3 reds on an Alps. You don't want two reds and a blue. You want something with skill power. So you should be assured if you get an Alps drop that it should have something, either 1 or 2 yellows on it. In the same with the rest. If you're going for a certain brand, if it has AR damage on it, it should roll a red. So another thing that I would like to bring up, and the last thing I'd like to bring up, and then I really want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys think about these ideas and what you guys think is going to help the gear situation as far as the RNG and getting better gear and keeping people farming for better gear. The third thing I had was they need to do something about skill mods. Skill mods are out of control. And with TU5, they're actually adding a new skill mod, which is the flame fire damage or something like that. But that's just going to dilute the pool even more. Skill mods need to scale with skill power. You should only have to have 1 damage mod for each skill. You put it in the slot and it scales to your skill power. If you have 3,000 skill power, it does more damage. If you have 1,000 skill power, it does less damage. Easy. This should be something that was in the game from the start. I'm not even sure why they decided to go the route they did. They knew they were only giving us 100 slots for mods. I can't even keep half the mods that I loot. And I'd like to, but I can't. And so with as many mods are in the game and as many different skill power builds as you can do, there's no reason that you should have to keep a 1,500 skill mod, a 3,000 skill mod, a 2,850 skill mod. It should just level with your skill power. All right, well, that's all I've got as far as my ideas for today. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think about these ideas and any ideas that you guys have to improve upon what I was just talking about, or even things that I did not discuss as far as the RNG and loot drops go. All right, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for tomorrow's State of the Game. I will be doing a recap on that. I will see you next time. Later.